Yona of the Dawn is an anime that aired between 2014 to 2015, and it is based on the manga series of the same name by Mizuha Kusanagi. I hope I just pronounced that correctly. It only got one season despite the manga having way more story that could have been covered. Um, I haven't read the manga yet, but I might in the future. But let's talk about the anime for now. So on Yona's 16th birthday, her cousin Suwon, who's like a really close childhood friend of hers, kills her dad, the king, and she has to escape with Hak, the guard. And there they first go to Hak's village until Suwon spreads some rumors about Hak and Yona that basically blame Hak for everything. And so he has to leave the Wind Clan for their safety. And Yona decides to go with him. They're on their journey. They meet a prophet who tells them that they need to search for these four dragons who can help Yona. And so they search for these four dragons. Now, what makes this series so great, in my opinion, is the characters. I think they're really well written and really interesting and fun to watch. So, we have Yona, who I think is a great protagonist. She doesn't start off as powerful, she's rather naive and helpless, as she grew up sheltered in a castle as a spoiled princess. And in the beginning of the story, when her father dies, she has basically lost all hope and doesn't know what to do after Suwon's betrayal. Then in Hak's village, she first regains her willpower by being with these new kind people. And throughout the story, we see her gain strength that she never had before, with her main motivation being her love for others, which I think is great because usually in these stories we have someone like a character who just starts off super strong, or a character who doesn't but like remains just same kind of helpless person throughout the entire story. And I really like to have a realistic character that starts off weak and gets more strong as the story continues. Like there's these really meaningful moments when she sees Sakas being threatened, and then she goes and fights for him despite it being like her not knowing how to fight at all, or when she went to get these plants that the pirates asked her to get. You know what I'm talking about if you watch the anime. I don't want to spoil too much. Those scenes just are really great character moments for her, and I really just think she's one of the best protagonists in shoujo anime that I know of. I'm gonna be honest, I think she's awesome. Then we have the prophet, I forgot his name, sorry, and his friend Yoon, who have a really great backstory. So Yoon used to be really self-centered because that's just kind of what he knew. And he met the prophet who was just kind despite how people treated him. And they formed this very cute friendship, which was a really touching flashback episode. I really liked it. Then we also have the four dragons who are all very different from each other. We have the white dragon, like the one who inherited the blood of the white dragon Dite. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. The Ian inherited the blood of the white dragon, Kija, and he always knew it was his destiny to help this red-haired. Well, he thought it was a king, it ended up being a princess, but to help the red-haired one. Um, and when she came, he just immediately decided to go with her because he's been waiting for this his whole life. Then we have Shin-A, the blue dragon, who with his eyes he has the capability to paralyze others, and for him he views his capability as a curse. He had to live sheltered from society in order to avoid his powers harming others and stuff, and because people were just really scared of him. And he has such a tragic past, so he's like a really sad character. But Yona is like really kind and understanding towards him, and so he also decides to join him. Then we have Jeha, the green dragon, and he's rather a playful character. What's really interesting about him is that he actually doesn't want to accept his destiny of having to help this red-haired royal, and he doesn't want to join Yona at the beginning. However, then he gets to know her and he decides to join her for her, not to fulfill a destiny, which I think is really interesting. Then we have Xena, the yellow dragon, and we get him at the end of the anime, so we don't learn much about him because we didn't get anything past the first season. Yeah, he kind of randomly decides to join them because they had like food that he wanted, and he seems funny, but we don't know much about him, so I can't say much. Then we also have Suwan, the villain, who's like great. Okay, so his father was like killed, for which he blames Yona's father, the king. And but it's not like that he's just evil because he had a sad backstory and now he's angry. He actually isn't really that evil. He intends to do good for the kingdom, and he believed that the king was incompetent, so he killed him so he could become a king that would actually improve the situation of the kingdom. So he really has actually good motivations for what he does, and I think he's really interesting as well, especially for how he still cares a lot about Yona and Huck. So I think that's really interesting. Now, speaking of Huck, I have to say one thing. As much as I like him, I think he's one of the less interesting characters in this series. I mean, maybe he gets more interesting in the manga, but like in the series, it's just, he grew up as a Scarred who thought he was going to protect Yona, and then the king, and then the king dies. He's betrayed by Suwon, and now he's like taking care of Yona, and he struggles with having romantic feelings for her. And that's not enough for me. I think his character needs to be given some more depth, but maybe that happens in the manga. You can tell me if you read it. Anyways, that's my opinion on Yona of the Dawn, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Bye.